Okay, I'm squeezing in one more today. And then that's it because I have to go get my hair done after that, and that's a really long process. That takes most of the day. So I wanted to go through some items for basic working and sort of the steps that I take. And I think pretty much anyone has these items at home if you're doing this type of work. If you're involved in this type of spiritual work, I think most people will have these things. So it's it's probably going to be very routine for most of you. But just in case you're new, maybe this will be helpful for you. I don't know. So the two things I would say, well, I'm going to get to everything. So you're going to start with a candle. Okay, so you can use plain candles like this. This is called a coach candle. I really like this size. I like the amount of time that it burns. I like that you can sit it on a surface by itself. You don't need a holder. It really rubs me the wrong way when I see people using candle holders, because if you want to read the wax flow afterwards, which is something I specialize in, which by the way, if you do a working and you would like me to read the wax flow, I will read it for you for free if you just send me the photos. You can send them to my email, which is conjuredcardia@gmail.com, or you can send them to me on my Facebook business page, which is Conjured Cardia. I like using, when you use a holder, it interrupts the wax flow, and I just don't like the use of holders. I also really don't like it when people put tin foil down on their plates. Aluminum is not a metal that I was taught to work with. I was taught to abstain from all aluminum and metal bowls, plates, etc., because it can disrupt your ashe, and aluminum is not a metal we typically want to work with because of its properties. So anyway, it can also interact with some things. So I use a lot of like sulfur, saltpeter, bluing, which has copper sulfate in it. It can also interact with these chemicals. Most of you are probably not working with those items, but I do regularly, so it's important for me. Or you can use a figure candle, back to that. There's like a million candles you can use. If you're using this type of candle, which is a novena candle or a prayer candle or vigil candle, sometimes people call it, you can inscribe the top of it right here, because a lot of people are like, well, how do you inscribe it and how do you dress it? So I inscribe it on the top, and I keep an old pen that doesn't work anymore because the tip still works well for writing and wax. So I will write in here, and I would write clockwise for something I was wanting to bring in, and counterclockwise for something I was wanting to repel or push away or reverse. So you can inscribe your name or your goal or whatever here, and then dress the top with oil. Some people will use a tool, like maybe a chopstick or something, to push holes down in this and fill them with oil. I think that can potentially interfere with your candle being able to take up the wax. The wax is going to get really diluted with all that oil, and it could potentially put your wick out, and then that's frustrating. So because you either have to start all over or try to dig it out and fix it, and then some people get really like concerned that they did something wrong or it's not working. It's just, I don't prefer to do it that way. Anyway, so inscribe your candle. If you want to cross your names, I say, this is red for love. This is just an example. If you have, one name going this way, one name going this way, so they're crossed. Or you could write them multiple times, 3 times this way, 3 times this way. For love, I prefer to work with the number 5 because that's Oshun's number. So I would do, 5 times around the candle one way, and then, 5 times this way. So when you're writing names, the person you're trying to draw to you, you want that to overlap your name. So that's your goal. You're bringing your goal to you. It's like you want to cover yourself in your goal. You want to cover yourself in that person. So you write your name, 5 times, and then you write their name across it 5 times. Okay. What you're bringing to you goes on top of you when you're inscribing things. Figure candles, you can write the names, here or on the back. Sometimes people do it on the bottom. I load my candles, so I don't inscribe bottoms. That's where I have a video on that. It's where you dig out the bottom and you load it with gree-gree. So You need your candle, you need a plate, a surface to set the candle on. I have plates that I specifically reserve for workings only. I really encourage you to do this. I go to antique stores and I buy them for a quarter, 50 cents, $1. I think maybe the most I've ever spent on an antique plate was $5. So I have a collection of these that I use for work, and their look and their feel sort of imitates the work that I'm doing. That's how I choose which plate I'm using. So then you're going to need paper. You can use a little, white Post-it, or maybe if you want to use colored Post-its to go along with your intentions, that would work too. Some people just choose to stick with brown paper. Again, inscribe your name and your intentions, just how I told you before on the candle. If it's something you're repelling from yourself, and you maybe want to write your name, facing one way on one side, and the thing or the person's name facing the other way on the other side, so you are like back to back, repelled from each other, okay, away from each other, or away from the situation or whatever. So then you're going to want to put your piece of paper that's inscribed on your plate. You may want to then dress it with oil, a corresponding oil. I have about 400 oils on my site that I sell, that are all my recipes that I hand make each and every one. If you need a conjure oil, I have tons of them. So dress your paper with oil. You can draw a cross on it. You could draw a heart with the oil if it's for love, etc. And then I choose to then dress it with powder or some type of maybe iron filings. The powder, of course, is going to depend on what your goal is. And iron filings are good for protection and drawing. You wouldn't really want to use them for any other type of work. So you put the candle on top of the paper, which has been dressed. I then, at this point, choose to take some time in offering and in prayer. This is when I may pour a glass of rum or whiskey for the spirits, maybe black coffee. If you're working with a specific Orisha, you will want to set out their offering at this time. As you're sort of in the middle of your work and you want to stop and sort of be present, take time to give honor and praise and thank you to the Orisha or the spirit or deity that you are choosing to ask favor from at this time. I think it's important to involve the offering in the work rather than at the end, because if you do it at the end, it can be forgotten, and that's a big mistake. If we forget the offering, then we have nothing to show the spirits that we are invested in this, that we are invested in them, that we are grateful to them, that we are thankful to them. And then it's just sort of, well, I did this stuff, so now you should help me. You don't want to approach them. Don't be rude. Don't be rude to people. Don't be rude to the spirits. So this, after your offering, that's when I would dress my candle. I would either put the oil on my hands and rub the candle. I choose to put oil on my hands and do down to the out the top, down to the bottom, to sort of to sort of put out there what I want, and then ground my candle and ground my goals to my work. So I do both ways. So dress with oil. Then you may want to dress that candle further with powder or the iron filings. This is when I would set my incense. I would start getting my incense going, my charcoal. That takes some time. I use natural resins, so you need to get the charcoal lit beforehand. I offer incense, charcoal, and resins, dragon's blood, frankincense, myrrh, sometimes copal, on my site if you're interested in trying natural resins, so you don't have the chemicals and the dyes and the synthetics and the saltpeter that is in stick or cone incense, which can interfere with your work, in my opinion. So you set your incense. This is when you want to light your candle, and this is the time you want to send out your prayers. So as many of you know, and I think I even did a video on this, I'm not big on like at this time when everything's all set, going and like getting a book and reading blah 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 blah. So what I like, prayers should, all of those prayers and books are just something somebody else wrote. That's their prayers, not yours, okay? So you should speak from your heart at this time. You are the one who knows your intentions. You are the one who knows the situation. You are the one who knows the person or knows yourself. You're the one who knows what you want. So why, why read somebody else's words somebody wrote, and who knows if they even knew what they were talking about? Who knows if they even used that prayer, if they found out it worked or not? They might have just wrote it down to sell a book. You have no idea. When you do it, it's genuine, it's authentic, it's pure, it's from your heart. So this is when you would speak your intentions into the universe. This is when you would, say your gratitude and your thankfulness to the spirits for being in your life, for bringing you what you already have. This is when you would say, hey, I really need help in this area, and I'm asking you, if you will help me with this. So, speak from your heart. Do your own prayers. Don't read other people's, when you read straight out of a book, it's very meaningless and monotone and regimented. It's not, I feel like it's not true. It's not pure. It's not purposeful. And we want everything that, our goal with our spiritual path and our spirituality is to do everything with purpose and intent. Every decision we make in our lives to be present with purpose and intent and direct our life down the avenues that we want it to go. So, I also am a big proponent of using fresh flowers and fresh offerings in my work. So my work will always have fresh flowers, fresh fruits, fresh vegetables. For offering, sometimes I'll cook a specific meal if I'm doing a big offering. But try to use something that will bring life, to bring a shade, to bring that force to your work. I think that it really adds a lot of depth to the work, and that's what we want. We want something that's multifaceted. We want to experience our spirituality through, touch and taste and sound and sight. So, fresh offerings really help with that. Music helps with that. The incense helps with that. Things that make our spirituality tangible in our life as human beings. Things that we can, use our senses with, make such a difference when we start to incorporate those into our life. So that's a very quick rundown of how I set up a basic offering. I do have a video on how to get rid of working remnants when you're done, depending on what type of working it is. So you can look that up for the afterwards if you need to. And like I said, all of these items that I showed you today or that I suggested are available on my site. It's www.shop.conjuredcardia.com. And I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to hearing from you guys. If you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below, and hopefully I'll get to another video pretty soon for you. All right, have a great week. Bye.